Wait, Dragon's Dogma's getting an anime? I love Dragon's Dogma. It was like my favorite RPG game. I wonder if it'll be like the Castlevania anime. The weird thing about the game, however, is that it doesn't really have a story at all. So I'm not really sure how... Wait a minute. Is that CGI? That fucking CGI! No! And just like that, I turned the show off and started watching The Boys. You know, I've always been interested in watching The Boys. I've heard a lot of good things about it. See, The Boys is a show about superheroes, but it's more realistic than that. Okay, I did drop the show to binge watch both seasons of The Boys, but it was only after maybe episode 3 or 4 of the 7-episode Dragon Dogma series. So let's explain why. So while I thought the show would be a one-for-one remake of the Dragon Dogma video game, where you randomly get your heart ripped out and then are set out to kill the dragon, the show, however, creates a family for the main character, stakes, people to lose for when the dragon attacks. I'm fine with that. They didn't, however, change anything else. The main character is really bland and boring. He's sort of just the good guy who fights the demons, who defends the weak and the poor, a savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned. That is all there is to his character. At least Trevor Belmont has some personality. He drank a lot. He has some charm and wit. Wasn't scared to kick someone's shit if they overstepped their boundaries. He, whose name I don't even remember, is just the main character. I mean, his kid is pretty lively. I'm not the biggest fan of him. I mean, I don't hate him, but he provides a bit of flavor to the... Okay, so here's where the show officially lines up with the video games. The dragon takes the main character's heart, turning him into the Arisen, which is basically a magical being. It doesn't really matter that much, and tells him to find him and kill him. See, this works for a video game because whatever happens in a game is just justification for the gameplay. Why did the dragon steal our heart? So we can go out and kill monsters. Why did Bowser steal Peach? So Mario is forced to go through level and level to get her back. See, this works in a video game as a way to motivate the player to play the game. And while many writers will come up with reasons to explain their world, at the end of the day, the reasons aren't as important. It's ultimately just there to get you from one level to the next level. That doesn't work, however, in a TV show where the story and writing is what you're here for. You're watching a show and the main villain shows up and says, I have given you superpowers, now come back and kill me with it. And you're like, why would you do that? Why would you do any of that? Maybe my mortal brain just can't comprehend the fifth dimensional chess this dragon is playing. Let's take a look at Dracula. I've never played the Castlevania games, but from what I know, Dracula plunged the world into darkness because humans killed his wife. I'm not saying that's entirely accurate for the video games because again, I haven't played it, but let's just assume that's true. That's fine for a video game. The main baddie is killing all the humans and you need to go kill him. Bam, boom, bop, demons to kill, thing to do. But when translating that into a motion picture, Dracula becomes a very dimensional character, someone who is just pure evil motivated by revenge. So I really enjoyed the changes they made to his character in the Castlevania TV show. They made Dracula out to be a smart and intelligent man who never hated humanity, but was more so indifferent. And after losing the woman he loved the most, he decided to take out his hatred on the world, losing himself in the process and straining his relationship with his own son. Watching that play out was really entertaining. This, not so much. The last problem taken directly from the game is the pawn system. See, in the Dragon's Dogma's game, in the video game, you have pawns, which are literally just personalityless spirits that follow you around and do whatever you tell them to do. Again, as a video game element that allows you to customize and create a custom companion to do whatever you want, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I love creating my own pawn, but adding a secondary main character with literally no personality to the main character who is already boring? Oof. Big oof. Now, I'm not saying you can't write a show with one boring main character and the secondary main character who barely meets the requirements to be called alive, but if you're going to do so, everything else needs to be really, really good. And I don't think it is. So now that we got the video game parts of the anime out the way, let's talk about the actual story. Dragon's Dogma doesn't take the original story where you go to the main castle and ally with the king or something, I don't know, so it's been like 5 years. But instead turns it into a Monster of the Week series, where each episode you'll find new characters with new problems and a monster to fight. So, with that in mind, the second episode was pretty okay. There's a village to save from a giant cyclops and a corrupt ruler. I thought the anime would incorporate the most exciting part of Dragon's Dogma, the video game, which was the climbing. Climbing on monsters and stabbing the ever-loving shit out of it. Like, I saw the Cyclops and I went, wow! I wonder how he's gonna climb that and kill it. But he didn't. They just ended up knocking it over and stabbing it in the eye. Could you imagine the anime based off of Shadow of the Colossus that didn't include climbing the monsters? You couldn't, because that would suck and defeat the purpose of making the show over. Sorry. Given all of that, the second episode wasn't actually that bad. A bit bland, but not terrible. But that's when we get to the third episode. Our hero stumbles upon a group being attacked by goblins. Perfect, I said. We're getting introduced to the side characters who will probably join our part. Are we really doing this? Really? Alright, okay. Listen, I'm not against having rape in a story, but like, maybe not in the second episode. Maybe don't have her boobs on full display bouncing around for the viewer to ogle at. Not only was she almost raped, she then tried to sleep with the main character later that night. Her breasts, which were once featured in sexual assault, will now be used to tantalize me. I am at a loss for words. I cannot believe the show is doing this. That fucking berserk noises. Is that the same clanking noises from Berserk? Holy shit, I almost stopped watching it. So why? It's just start glowing blue. I don't understand what is happening. And you know what the final nail in the coffin for me was? See, this woman and her husband aren't getting along. He's kind of a wuss and almost let her die. And she would like a man who wouldn't let her die. Very, very basic, easy to understand problems. Very easy to fix problems. Don't let her die. I originally thought the show was just going to kill him off and let him die. And maybe, I don't know, let the woman join the group and travel around or something? I don't know. But to my surprise, he actually develops as a character. He learns to stand up for himself. But not just himself, but for his wife, and he protects her, finding the courage he never thought he had. And then right after that, he fucking kills her because he never wants to lose her, bro. She just wanted you to protect her. You have accomplished that. Problem solved. You've won. Why would you wait? What are you doing? Could you imagine if your spouse was losing interest in you because you never, I don't know, showered or something really simple and easy to fix, and then after finding the dignity to wash your ass and winning her affection back, you murder her so that you'll never lose her? I can't tell you why, but I somehow made it to the fourth episode after that. Genuinely do not remember what happened because I think after a few earlier scenes I started reading some hentai. Anyway, in the middle of having a better time on Pornhub, something broke my attention. A loud noise, a scream even. The main character suddenly awakened a rage mode and I said, wow. I would rather be watching anything else right now, so I flipped the coin between Adventure Time and The Boys. More of the story, if you're going to adapt the game into a show, then things need to be changed in order to make the adaptation more enjoyable. Boring main characters in a fun action RPG game? Could work. In a TV show? Very bad. A dragon that gives you power so that you can go kill him? Who cares? In a video game? In a TV show? Very dumb. A pawn that you can customize and has no personality but does everything you say? Could be a fun mechanic in a video game. In a TV show, a really boring character. Raping your character, then have her try to sleep with the MC in the same night? I'll say very bold. Very bold of the show to try that. This show is boring and lifeless. So after flipping the coin, I landed on The Boys. So anyway, The Boys is about superheroes and it's more realistic. It's a bit gory and I just love